Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Figured I would shoot a video from the kayak. Got a couple of fishing rods back there, and it's kind of cool. This is a pedal kayak. So as I pedal, there's a propeller underwater, and there's actually a rudder control here so I can actually steer it. So, just got back on the water. Fished a little bit this morning, not too much. It's gorgeous. Blue skies, not many clouds. It's sunny out. So, today's topic I wanted to talk about is focus on the solution rather than the problem. Very, very simple concept. As you go throughout your day, what would be a better use of your time? Focusing on the solution or staring at the problem, the pain, the symptoms, whatever is going on? In general, the brain wires the things we think and speak about and focus upon most often. And so, what do you think would be the more useful approach? Focusing on the problem itself or focusing on the solution? Now, if you've been following my videos for any length of time, you know that the problem is the symptoms, right? And the secondary problem that a lot of people have is, I've got all this stress, this anxiety, these emotions, these traumas, everything else. Those are secondary problems. In my opinion, focusing on those is not necessarily a solution. It's just a focus on the secondary problem, which is this belief that I'm kind of emotionally or mentally broken, damaged, not well, right? So it's important for us to focus on the solution, not the problem, or even the secondary problem. The problem is, the main one is the pain or the other symptoms that we're struggling with. And that's very easy to kind of point out, and we go, yeah, that's the problem. But the secondary problem is, oh no, now that I know about this thing called TMS, mind-body syndrome, perceived danger pain, and we read a lot and we learn a lot, and everybody's talking about big T, little t, repressed negative emotions, brain distracting us. It's very easy to kind of conclude that we've got a secondary problem, which is just as scary as the symptoms or pains themselves, which is somehow emotionally, mentally, I'm broken, and my brain is messed up, and my brain is causing this trouble, or that I brought this on. Again, those fall in the category of the problems, not necessarily the solution, right? So I believe the entire set of symptoms, whether it be pain, burning, numbness, tingling, weakness, gastrointestinal problems, even certain autoimmune issues, I believe all of that stuff can be summed up by perceived danger, and it creates pain or other symptoms. And the pain or symptoms are basically the brain's warning system to say, hey, we got a problem. So, focusing on the solution, in my opinion, if it's all about the perceived danger and symptoms warning us, wouldn't it make sense that the solution is always going to be geared towards teaching this brain that's just trying to protect us and keep us safe from things it perceives as dangerous? Wouldn't it make sense to start to teach the brain that you're actually okay, that you're not in danger, and that these things that the brain might be perceiving as dangerous are not in fact dangerous? Emotions, thoughts, situations, hanging out with your mother-in-law or sister-in-law or brother-in-law or father or son or whomever. Because I see a lot of comments that people are saying, yep, every time I talk to so-and-so, my symptoms flare. So the answer isn't stop talking to that person. The solution is really, it comes down to teaching the brain that, yeah, that person can kind of be upsetting, but it does not have to cause me symptoms or pain. We can't eliminate every stressful or upsetting thing from our life, but we can teach our brains that the emotions that come up are not so dangerous. They warrant symptoms to protect or distract us from those emotions. So that's why one of my core fundamental strategies is to feel your emotions. Feel them. Why? Because it feels good, and so they can pass. Because if you don't feel your emotions, they just kind of linger around, they accumulate. But if you feel them, they can release and pass. And why else do we do it? So that your brain learns that these emotions are not dangerous. Look, Dan just felt a whole bunch of really intense emotions, and nothing bad happened. That's kind of cool. And if Sarno's theory is right, that the brain is protecting or distracting us from these repressed negative emotions, the best way to teach the brain that they're safe is to actually feel them, so that the brain learns, they're feeling emotions, but nothing bad happened. So I guess they're safe. I guess I don't need this distraction or protection from the emotional world. So there's other things that the brain could perceive as dangerous. Physical movements, body positions, right? Activity, work. Who knows? Whatever the activity may be, your brain may perceive that to be dangerous. Well, how do we teach the brain that those things are not in fact dangerous? By gradually engaging in more and more of those activities, and if the brain turns on those symptoms or escalates the symptoms, responding calmly and reassuringly and saying, hey brain, that was just normal activity. And I know you're trying to protect me from that activity because you believe it's dangerous, but I'm unconcerned, and you should be too. And truly be unconcerned by any change or increase in the symptoms, because if you try to re-engage in some activities and the symptoms go up, and your response is fear, freak out, frustration, anger, being really pissed off, what are you teaching the brain? That those activities are safe? Or, oh no, you're confirming the brain's perception that those things are dangerous. So the best way to convince the brain that these activities that you're re-engaging with are not dangerous is your chosen response when or if the symptoms come back or escalate. Because again, if you can be like, hey, I did some normal activity, pain shot through the roof, but I didn't care, and I'm unconcerned by that because I understand what caused it, the brain will soon get the message that, wow, they're not concerned. The intellectual message is consistent. This is just the brain protecting me. And even though it feels physical, even though it feels like I did too much, which is something I hear a lot, the more consistently you can remind yourself that, no, I didn't do too much. My brain's just perceiving that I did, and turning up the volume on the symptoms as a result. So again, let's go back to the topic here. Focus on the solutions rather than the problem. And again, the problem is the symptom, but also I think the secondary problem is the belief that the presence of those symptoms means you're broken, damaged, weak, emotionally scarred, traumatized, or some other emotional or mental issue that is causing your brain to turn on these symptoms. That's not really true. It's a perceived danger, or it's a perceived problem, And it's very easy to go there. A lot of people feel like, I almost wish it was physical so the doctor could fix me. No, wishing for that doesn't necessarily mean that the doctors have the answer. You do have the answer. Perceived danger is really driving the show here. So teaching the brain you're actually safe, in my opinion, is the most direct, most logical, most rational solution. It's what makes sense to me and seems to be resonating with lots of you folks. And as a result, we're also seeing a lot of success, not only in my paid group, not only my paid clients, but lots of people on the internet land, YouTube, Facebook. People are getting better. And so focus on the solution, which is teaching your brain you're actually okay now, and less on the problem or the secondary problem, which is this belief that TMS makes you messed up. It doesn't. None of this is your fault. It's where you ended up. You have a brain that's just in a very overprotective state, and that's it. Our sole job is to teach the brain that you can settle down, because I don't need protection, because these things are truly not dangerous. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Hope everybody has a fantastic day. I'm going to probably put this camera back in the house or in the cottage and fish till nightfall. So love you guys and gals. Hope this message resonated with you. Focus on the solution. Love you. Take care.